All is set for the inauguration of the 47th U.S. President Donald Trump. Nigeria's maiden AFCFTA shipment arrives in Kenya. Operators risk fine over non-renewal of registration, says Securities and Exchange Commission. Rising international price of crude forces hike in petrol price. On the program today, we will be taking a look at the economic effects of Donald Trump as America's 47th president on the African continent and Nigeria. The program is Business Expert, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar, your guide. Now let's begin by telling you that Nigeria AFCFTA Coordination Office says Nigeria's first AFCFTA shipment synthetic filaments by Lucky Fibers has arrived in Kenya, marking a milestone in Africa trade integration. The country's maiden shipment under the African Continental Free Trade Area AFCFTA has successfully arrived at the Mombasa port in Kenya. A shipment by the senior trade expert at the Nigeria AFCFTA Coordination Office, Olusegun Olutayo, said the achievement marked a significant milestone for Nigeria in realizing the vision of increased intra-African trade, championed by the agreement in line with the decision of the AU Assembly at the 31st Ordinary Session of the Assembly. It said the first consignment, which was a synthetic filaments product of Nigeria's Lucky Fibers Limited, a subsidiary of the Tolaram Group, was exported on the AFCFTA preferential terms. Olutayo also hailed the bold economic reforms of President Bola Tinubu, emphasizing their catalytic role in enabling the country's active participation in AFCFTA, fostering continental economic integration and industrialization goals. The development marks a historic moment for Africa's trade landscape. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it spent an estimated 10.3 trillion naira on primary market payment or repayment in the 12 months of 2024 amid active engagement in the Nigerian Treasury bills issuance. This is about 133% increase over 4.3 trillion naira spent in 12 months of 2023. Primary market repayment by the CBN refers to the repayment of matured treasury bills issued in the primary market. In 2024, the CBN actively managed repayments as part of its broader liquidity and debt management strategy. According to financial data released by the CBN, primary market sales increased to 16.48 trillion naira in 2024, representing a growth of 85.5% from 8.88 trillion naira in 2023. They added that increased spending on Treasury bills is due to higher interest rates that contributes to a larger government debt burden. Also, Central Bank of Nigeria has revealed that 95.66% of bank debtors borrowed from microfinance banks. This dominance highlights the critical role of microfinance banks in the country's lending ecosystem, particularly for individuals and small businesses. Out of the 6,537 total debtors recorded across all creditor types, 6,253 were linked to microfinance banks, reflecting their pivotal role in providing access to credit. How much is the naira exchanging for the currencies? Let's see. The Securities and Exchange Commission has warned that capital market operators who fail to renew their registration for the year 2025 by January 31st risk severe penalties and exclusion from market activities. This was disclosed in a circular issued by the Commission, reminding CMOs to commence the annual renewal process between January 1st and January 31st, 2025. The Commission emphasized that the renewal process must be completed via its electronic portal, adding that CMOs without valid registration will face penalties. Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. Now, Nigeria's oil production has hit a rough patch despite a 100% increase in the number of active drilling rigs in the sector that accounts for a significant chunk of government revenue and foreign exchange earnings. Nigeria, one of Africa's largest oil producers, has seen its rig count more than double in recent months, increasing from 16 active rigs in 2021 to a record 34 by 2024, according to Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. Chief Executive of NUPRC, Benga Komolafe, said this growth has been widely seen as a sign of revitalization in the country's beleaguered oil sector, which has been plagued by years of underinvestment, aging infrastructure, and attacks on pipelines by militants. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has put its 2025 economic growth at 3.1%, painting a picture of high crude demand, which could culminate in higher prices of crude, increased refining costs, and high prices of petrol and other petroleum products, with a rise in crude oil prices to more than $80 per barrel from $74 per barrel last week. Dangote Petroleum Refinery increased its wholesale price to 950 naira per liter from 895 naira per liter, while retail prices rose between 1,050 naira and 1,150 naira per liter, depending on location in Lagos and its environs. According to OPEC report, the high demand for crude oil will be driven by economic expansion in some countries, including China and India, major buyers of Nigeria's crude oil. The report stated global economic growth is forecast to grow at 3.1% in 2025, accelerating slightly to 3.2% in 2026. This positive outlook is underpinned by anticipated inflation normalization and corresponding adjustments to monetary policies in major economies. The services sector is expected to remain the main driver of growth, supported by a gradual rebound in industrial production. For the U.S., the economic growth forecast in 2025 is revised upward to 2.4%, with 2026 forecast at 2.3%. Next is a summary of how stocks in Nigeria fared.
The NGX All Share Index and market capitalization depreciated by 2.94% to close the week at 102,353.68 basis points and 62.851 trillion naira. A total turnover of 2.252 billion shares worth 58.831 billion naira in 36,657 deals were traded by investors on the floor of the exchange. The financial services industry led the activity chart with 1.371 billion shares worth 22.274 billion naira in 26,114 deals. The consumer goods industry followed with 253.536 million shares worth 15.244 billion naira in 8,869 deals, while the third place was the services industry with a turnover of 193.424 million shares worth 931.795 million naira in 4,716 deals. Trading in the top three equities, namely Universal Insurance PLC, Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, and Aiko Insurance PLC, accounted for 468.315 million shares worth 9.007 billion naira in 3,568 deals. A total of 163,360 units of ETPs valued at 15.866 million shares were traded in 80 deals. For bonds, a total of 164,521 units valued at 160.490 million naira were traded in 52 deals. On summary of price changes, 33 equities appreciated in price during the week, 57 equities depreciated, while 62 equities remained unchanged. Olainka Ojo for Business Express.
Let's head to the stock markets. We have Maria who's standing by to give us or bring us up to speed with global happenings in the stock market. Maria, it's over to you.
International markets in a mixed trade this afternoon. European markets reflect this with market attention on the inauguration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump later in the day. DAX dropped 0.01%. FTSE was higher at 0.12%. We have the CAC also up 0.02%. Asia markets rose Monday. Malaysia's exports in December surged 16.9% year-on-year, shooting past Reuters' estimates of 8.8%. This compares to November's 4.1% rise. The country's imports grew 11.9% compared to Reuters' forecasts of 5.2%. The figures show the Nikkei surged 1.17%. We have Shanghai Composite higher at 0.08%, and the Hang Seng Index mirrors this at 1.75%. In the U.S., as Trump's inauguration draws near, big tech stocks higher, with shares of Tesla popping 3%. Chip-making giant Nvidia jumps 3.1%, while Alphabet shares add more than 1%. Looking at the figures, we have the DAX lower at 0.04%, S&P 500 follows at 0.06%, Nasdaq Composite also in red at marginal. Africa markets mimic other regions. South Africa JSE top 40 higher at 0.07%. We have Kenya lower at 0.07%, Namibia at 0.04%, and Ghana positive at 0.03%. That's an overview of the global market for today. I am Maria Adozakari. It's back to Musa.
Thank you, Maria. Well, that concludes Business Express. Business Express returns tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.